What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in this week to the Metal Forge. And this week is technically it's the last week of the month, so we're doing the thing again, where we're doing the 2 albums from Jason Gardner, 2 albums from Sean Frazier from Wise Blood Records, who is here right now. Somebody say hello.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, and 2 albums from myself. And so over the last month, Sean, how have you been, man?
I've been pretty good, yeah. Things super busy with Wise Blood Records. We have the Grave Ripper album coming out next week. And the week after that, we launch pre-orders for the new Black Knife record. So a lot of really nasty blackened thrash and punk on the way.
Which... funny that you mentioned that, because Hell will have messaged me earlier today, and I asked, I was like, hey man, did you get a chance to listen to the previous album conversation with you and Jason? He goes, I just finished it. And like, dude, that is great. He of course he thanked us for the shouts out. As always, shouts out to him. But he said Bernie's Eternal Weekend is a far better album title as well.
In comparison to Baby Eater Witch, which I'm excited to roll out for good, for real, in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. And and I think that's a great thing in metal and everything today is like, yeah, you do have like super abrasive band names and stuff like Anal Cunt and shit like that, but like, in the whole like thing, it's like, who gives a fuck what anything is called anymore? Because you can fucking name it what the fuck ever you want, and if it's abrasive, who gives a fuck? I mean, yeah, there are lines you don't cross, like I cheered for the Nazis or some shit.
Like clan member with a K. That wouldn't be a very good. That
probably wouldn't be a good thing.
That wouldn't be on my shelf. Right. No.
But I mean, I'm sure fucking that might be John Schaefer's next album. Who knows?
It's funny. Last Maiden show I saw, they played the Klansman.
And Bruce pointed it out. And
there was a disclaimer before. He's like, "Now this is with a C and not a K, just in case everybody's filming this." It was pretty funny.
When I saw him in Indy or in Noblesville, they did that, and I was like, "Oh yeah." Wow, that was 2019, by the way.
Seems like a different world, man. Like when
it does.
It's like if there'd be like BC and AD, and then there would be like BC and AC before COVID, after COVID. It's almost like it's gonna be like a timestamp. Like, what were you doing BC before Christ? No, before COVID. Duh.
Boy, yeah. I mean, it is a completely different world now, because here I'm fucking 4 years deep into a fucking podcast that I never thought that I would be doing.
Yeah, it definitely was like a sort of fork in the road. And I was like, what if I go the route where I'm like more poor, but put out more music?
Yeah.
And that's what I chose. It's all right.
I think you picked the right route, actually, for everybody else. Yes.
Well, and honestly, Sean, and this is my reasoning for doing the podcast, is because it's about spreading the word of metal. And, why not get into a deal where you can connect with people in other cities, like Jason in Nashville, me in Louisville, and you in Indy, and whoever else that we each individually talk to, that we keep our community alive metal wise.
I think the role of what I call the metal ambassador in every city is important for networking, and a lot of those people have their sort of pulse on the shows in the area, the venues that are solid and treat talent right and customers right. They know the good record stores, that are going to have the selection. So yeah, I love networking with people across the country, especially.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And what's also so cool about that is you just recently co-promoted Heavy Hell 4.
Yeah, yeah. I want to give 99% of that credit to Dustin, because he does all the booking and negotiating, and basically at the end of it, he lets me put my name on this beautiful lineup. Uh, with like a little input, but it's really him and the Black Circle staff, and then I get to enjoy the glory of having a Wise Blood indoor stage.
Well, the couple of times that I've been up there, you've been running the door at least.
Yeah, this one I had a label table, and so I
Yeah.
had like a Wise Blood presence, and the most involved I get now is I just go get water and drinks for the staff, and tell them thank you for sweating with me during this day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that should be honestly, that should be like a single song for like 15 band sampler for you all. The label table.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
It's all of the bands that you can buy on our table when you come to the shows. Here is one song each.
That's true. I put out something kind of like that with Kuma's last
Mhm.
year. And I'm definitely going to do it again. I'm definitely going to do some sort
Absolutely.
of, because I don't know about you guys, but like compilations were that's where it was at for discovering new music for
Yeah.
me when I was like pretty broke growing up, and I was like, how do I learn about 20 bands I've heard about?
And one.
Uh, yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Just
I had
like,
dial up, and there was no Spotify, so
right.
On
And just going
Lime
to,
Wire or some shit.
LimeWire, yes, Soul
Yeah.
Seeds.
yes, fucking
I didn't even know about
what?
that.
Bear share, fucking all this other weird shit, fucking all these other P2P fucking sharing sites. Yeah. Fucking, or, what I really enjoyed was, in our little fucking shithole town that's like 30 miles north of Louisville. We had a guy in the scene up there and his sister. Shout out to Mike and Crystal. But they were like on the Roadrunner Street team.
Yeah.
So they would get sampler discs all the fucking time to pass out for like nothing. Like, as long as they weren't like, they weren't finding them in fucking dumpsters and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in the day, dude, like labels did that shit where they had those samplers and shit, and like really, that's what I liked about going to like festival shows like Ozfest back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
where they had the village of like vendors and shit, and it was all fucking different weird shit. Like everybody had free shit they were giving away, and there was always shit that you could buy. But yeah, it's all fucking changed now.
Yeah, it's all like visit our playlist with this QR code. It's like, yeah, it's not quite the same. It's like,
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted to put out a compilation album like the Metal Forge did with Volume 1.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Sean, I totally get what you mean. And then, there's just a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're like securing the rights to everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of reaching out to people, and you assume you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. Like, who doesn't mind a little extra, free promotion and a copy of
maybe a little
CD.
skull in the end of the day,
Right? But it's still, you got to ask, and that's like for if you're doing huge compilations too with like 15, 20 plus bands, that can it's tedious but necessary. So and then the artwork and all that stuff,
mm-hmm.
It's a whole rigmarole. But yeah, I'll definitely have another Wise Blood compilation out at the end of the year on a cheap ass CD, just the cheapest one I can, just so I can just throw in everything.
Print, man. Hey, the Kunaki print works, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I swear by it. Jason swears by it.
Yeah, man. I used to use Kunaki for our self-release stuff, and then I used it again for a repress for our last full-length album, or not last full-length, but the one before our last one.
Right.
It looks good. I just did a sleeve. I didn't do a jewel case, so it's just the art on the front and back, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, I did the jewel case for Blood's 10th anniversary print where it's got the bonus tracks and the actual disc artwork, and it looks great in the jewel case. I mean, and they're sealed. They're not like, they're poly sealed, but they're not like shrink wrapped, you know.
Yeah.
So there's like a little bit of play in the package, but what it's an automated service. Nobody works there. What do you expect?
Right. Yeah.
So what's up?
Oh yeah, no, I think CD wise, these days I've been using Atomic Disc if I need something real fast. I've been using them, and it's been really good. But I'm always open to learn about new businesses, especially if they're like kind of smaller run, smaller businesses.
I mean, Kunaki is like the Skynet of CD printing, you know.
Oh yeah, and the funny thing is how I found out about it was me and a guy in the scene. I won't say his name for the reason why he was using Kunaki and how I know it's completely it's a completely automated system is because we have a flea market here in town. It's a real fucking dirt flea market. It's only open on the weekends. It's real skeevy. It's the one where the fucking you never see the attendant in the booth. It's always the porn booth in the back of the place and shit. The attendant is never there and it's always locked up. And the kids are always out looking at it and shit because you could see titles through the fucking mesh fence. The skeevy fucking place. Well, he was fucking printing copies of brand new movies that were pirated with artwork and selling them at the flea market for $10 a piece. And Kunaki was printing them. And he was getting hundreds of them at the time.
Oh my God. That's
and then he told me about they've got a record service now. And he's like, I haven't tried it yet, but I want to. So I actually did it. And I was like, dude, it's not bad for a lathe cut record. I mean, it's what it is. You're uploading a digital file and, but that's how I found out that it was completely automated and you could run what the fuck ever you wanted out of there. And they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So,
they don't realize the copyright minefield that they stepped into.
Oh God, no. No, and I guess the thing about it too is I guess if it's because it's a completely automated system, I guess they can plead fucking non-involvement. Maybe I don't know. Right. It's all between the user and the machine at that point.
Mm-hmm. You're right. So, yeah. They're like, well, we're just the liaison, We didn't upload.
Yeah, we just set up the website for everybody to do it in the machines. We're not actually running nothing. We have a service tech that goes in and replaces fucking shit when it breaks, but that's it.
Yeah. They're like, we're not gonna, reflect upon the ethics of the situation. We're just gonna press print.
And for them being called Kunaki, the funny thing is they're actually in Nevada.
Nevada based?
The machine moved. It used to be in New York because I would get CDs in 2 days.
Oh no shit!
Nevada. They moved to Nevada. I think they send it from Nevada to New York and then send it from New York to you. Still,
yeah. See, I get mine straight up from Nevada. So
really,
yeah, and it takes 3 days.
Because last time I ordered them, it was had a New York postage stamp on it.
Well, when you had yours sent to me, they came from Nevada.
Okay, well maybe they changed.
Yeah. So here we are, the main event of the show. We talked for a few minutes here about happenings and such. So yeah, 2 albums from each of us. Who wants the blood match to go first?
I'll talk about just my 2 picks.
Sure.
Were a couple death metal bands that I've loved for a while now. Obviously the Incantation just appeared on that's their first time they've been on the Decibel magazine cover. So that's pretty cool. I've loved Incantation and they're definitely one of my favorite representations of American death metal because they had that cavernous kind of blasphemous quality that really appealed to me when I was getting into death metal and continued to this day. And I think their new album is fantastic. Have you guys had a chance to listen to that one at all?
I did. what I listened to was what was available on Bandcamp for the pre-order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So I did that, and so I did I think it was 3 songs. Let me go back to it because I've still got it here on my Bandcamp page. Unholy Deification, which when John was on the Metal Forge back in January, we were talking about the release of that coming later this year.
Yeah.
So here we are finally at it. Obviously, it's on purple vinyl. That's going to be on CD and cassette, and the shirts on all of that deal. So the 3 songs I listened to was Concordant, Homunculus, and Invocation.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they totally check the boxes. I absolutely love what they're doing. And I've loved Incantation for a long time too, and it was actually really cool getting to finally hear the new stuff that John was talking about back in January. Just being so excited to talk about it, and what I think is they just have a ridiculous precision,
mm-hmm.
and for them to like not play to any track or any click or anything like that, to be as precisioned as they are is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm
good
sorry.
Points on that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
The other one I picked was the new album by Horrendous. They they already got album of the year from Decibel magazine one time. And I actually did a cover story for them also. Nice. About this album. So, this was something like, this is a record I basically lived in for a month and listened to almost every day, because I just get sort of obsessive when I'm writing about stuff. I go back with these guys a little bit, just because we both lived in Philly for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And man, if death metal bands for the next decade would sort of mimic them and Blood Incantation, I'd be very happy, with just the styles of death metal that are appealing to me. There's like a little bit of the sweet death thing that they did earlier in their career, like Gorman, early
Mm-hmm.
Tiamat, stuff like that. But they also a lot of Schuldiner and a lot of their own sort of proggy, expansive approach to death metal.
Yeah, their proggy techie approach.
Yeah. Absolute crushing record. I think that's going to be in a lot of end of year lists.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was extremely heavy, like the entire way through. There is no fucking reprieve, and by the end of it, because I did I pre-ordered it or ordered it and everything on Bandcamp. It was just like, holy shit, man. It's like, it absolutely blew me away. And, while they are not necessarily my thing, listening to it and like actually, giving it a few spins and being like, I know definitely at least 2 handfuls of people that I could really turn this on to, and they would be like, fuck, dude, thank you. That is awesome. So, and that I think is really where it's at. And I love the cover art for it too. So it's real fucking whimsical, nasty, deathy, fucking demon-y, fucking what you would think death metal should be an album cover of.
Just like dripping anatomy.
Yeah.
Like sort of alien. We're not really sure what gnarliness we're looking at.
Yeah, because there's a skull that's kind of mutating into a demon and a cave looking kind of thing. So, yeah, I dig it. I completely dig it. And anything that's red and yellow, anyways, is fucking. Yeah, it checks the boxes there. What about you, Jason? Did you listen to either of these two?
I actually did not, but I am pretty sure there was a new Incantation song on this movie I started watching called Death Metal, which I know they had. They're on the soundtrack. the movie is pretty rough. but I'm gonna finish it up because like I like watching movies with musicians that trying to act like musicians, or people trying to act like musicians in movies, because I like to see how real it looks. I always just kind of like focus in on that kind of stuff. But they might be in the movie too. But I know they have a song or two in the soundtrack. So
what's
I'm pretty sure one of their songs was in the very beginning. So yeah,
that's one you need to check out if you like that, Jason.
What is it?
Pledge Night with Joey Belladonna.
I'll check it out. I think I might have seen it actually, but I'll look. Yeah,
it's from like 1985.
That's fine. Yeah, I have no issues with what year.
Yeah, we watched it at the Gore Club one night. It was great.
Yeah.
That's like a hunt the frat boys kind of slasher movie.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hunt the frat boys, but it's like a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Incantation was on the cover of Decibel, because every time I look on the cover of Decibel, I'm always like, we were close. My band was close to being on the cover. We were just in the very back of the magazine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had I think it was Glenn Benton from DSI was on the one our little blurb was in back in 2017, I think. So yeah.
Wow. I've never had a blurb.
Yeah, we had a blurb. I can almost quote it verbatim. It wasn't very much.
Oh.
Yeah, the writer was like, I thought I had heard every Grand Magus album that existed, and then I got a copy of this and realized I hadn't. 5 stars. I was like, oh sweet.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great blurb.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. It was like in an unsigned, unheard segment in the magazine. So
still.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I was like fucking over the moon. I bought like extra copies to show, like, give the people, you know.
Was
like,
that
out, you know?
Was that Kevin Stewart Pankow?
Yes, was writing that?
Yep.
Yeah. One of the great Canadians, might I add, just because he put us in there. Yeah.
He it feels like once a year I randomly see him working a merch table, usually for like Hate Eternal or one of those affiliated bands, and it's just out of nowhere. I'm like, hey, KSP, what's going on?
Well, it's funny because I hit him up for our next album, and like we were on like Electric Talon Records, which for all intents and purposes is pretty much a very independent label. And he was like, "Oh, but you're signed now." I was like, "Yeah, but am I really though?" I mean, I respected it. I was like, "Cool, man. Thanks for your time." Yeah, but I was like, I might argue a counterpoint to being signed, but yeah. So.
Yeah, no, you're like, at a certain point of the day, like, they're not paying us to like record anything. They're not flying us to Europe for a tour. Like, this is not a label that's
they might like be paying fucking the Kunaki charge.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically it was
Kunaki
like
shipping.
Yeah, basically it was like, I'll print your CDs and recoup the cost through sales, and I'll keep the streaming, and I'll give you free PR and promote. So that was like the pretty much that's what we get. Yeah, and it's fine because a lot of that's still worth some money. So
that all helps. It's not going to be the needle mover that's signing with like Century Media, but it's helpful.
Sure. Well, that's a good segue since you mentioned Century Media, because my two are both on Century Media actually. Yeah. So I'll just go next, Mark, if you don't mind. Yeah. So I got two. What I would consider these safe mainstream picks because they're on Century Media. So one just came out Friday, which is the new Spirit Adrift album. Let me look at the name real quick because I am not prepared.
Ghost at the Gallows.
Ghost at the Gallows. Yeah, that's right. So. Yeah, like this guy, Nate Garrett, like I consider like the John Fogerty of like trad metal. Like this dude, every riff he writes and every like melody is like just fucking amazing. And like the amount of the amount of output this guy does is like every year it's something, and it's all quality. It's like, and it like blows my mind like how consistent and how often we get stuff. Like last year was 2 original songs and the rest was covers. That was 2022's release. The year before that was a 3-song EP of originals. Before that was a full-length album, Enlightened Eternity, I think was the name. And then like I think he had like a full-length album like every year before that for like since like 2016. So like
on most of those, isn't he playing it by himself?
I think he actually has people in a band now instead of doing everything himself, or at least with a drummer. But yeah, I know for a lot of it was like just him doing all the guitars.
See, that's what I thought too. Um, Sean,
But
did you listen to it? Or go ahead.
I've listened to it like 4 times. It's not my favorite album of theirs right now. Probably won't be. I like I like it. It's awesome, but like it's just like I think some of the earlier stuff might be like a little better for me personally. But there's some really heavy shit on here for some trad metal. I mean, like it's a lot of mellow stuff and a lot of really heavy stuff. It's like kind of like it's like the heaviest and mellowest at the same time. Yeah, it's kind of weird, like just juxtaposition he's gotten in, but it's all good. It'll still be one of my probably like at least top 6 albums this year because there's still some stuff coming out that I haven't heard yet. That I've got some favorites already that are ingrained in my head that I'll probably be 1 and 2 for sure. So yeah, it's like I got a lot. There's a lot left to listen to before I make up my mind. But
Right.
yeah, this one I dig it though. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't put it their top album, but it's up there. And then the other one is coming out the day this releases on the 25th. This new Ex Mortis album, which I'm fortunate to say I played on the same festival as them one time, even though it was a different day. It was still pretty cool to being on the same fest. So I was like, hell yeah, So this album's called, I don't know why I'm not prepared for this shit. I'm usually pretty good. Let me see. Hold on, man. I'll tell you.
Necrophony.
Yeah, I was trying to actually pronounce it right. I was like going over in my head. So yeah, this is the first one since about 2020 or 19. I think they released the last one. Mm-hmm. So I don't play guitar, so I don't get my feelings hurt that much. But the drummer is pretty badass. So it might make me reconsider my career path after listening to this shit and get my feelings hurt. Sometimes some bands can just do that to you. It's like, man, come on. Why do I gotta be so good?
Yeah.
It makes you feel inadequate.
This is definitely one of those like shred records where you're just kind of amazed at how nimble their fingers are. And I'm just like, okay, that's a skill set entirely alien to me.
The neoclassical stuff they do is like pretty much like second to none as far as like neoclassical shredding goes. Like I would put the lead guitar player up against Yngwie pretty much any day. I mean, honestly, he's in that category. I think he might be better. I think his riffs are better.
I mean, but it's Yngwie though. I mean,
Yngwie's like a cheeseball. This guy is like the real deal.
He's all hype at this point.
Yeah,
he's good, but did he actually like ever grow? Did he actually ever grow and like be bigger and better than what he was, or did he just sit there and achieve what he was and then just plateau?
I think he plateaued at Rising Force, to be honest with you, but that's
exactly my point.
Yeah, back what was that? 87.
Yeah. I think it's 86, but I'm not sure. I have to look at my copy. But yeah, I mean, so there's that, but I mean, there's always people that are faster guns and better, I think.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't get to hear any of this because for some reason, because I don't do like the paid Spotify, every time I go to click a Spotify link on something, it always plays some other band like first.
Yes.
And it like completely fucks me up. And I'm just like, what the fuck? It's like, this isn't, I'm like old man over here, like fucking like, what the fuck, Spotify? And I hate that shit. And because they're on Century Media, there are no fucking Bandcamp links that are accurate to this album. Even though there are other fucking bands on Century Media that have Bandcamp links to their albums. Manage your shit, guys. Make your music accessible, guys.
Yeah.
People want to buy it. Like
but that's coming out. That's coming out Friday. This releases, so if you're listening, it should be out
today. So, Sean, do you want to talk about those two albums first?
Yes, I mean, I think Spirit Adrift, I was really into them when they had that kind of like sludgier part when it was more of a solo project. And now that they've gone kind of like full trad metal, I like it. But it takes a little while for the songs to warm up to me because they are going for but things with like knockout choruses and things that stick with you.
Yeah.
And they're kind of epic. So kind of like listening to that band Haunt, it takes me a little time, honestly, away from it to see what songs stick with me. Like I think Spirit Adrift is great, and I like what they're doing. But I'm always gonna go gravitate towards like the cheesier end of trad metal than their like very earnest trad metal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. There's some sludge on this album. Like they don't.
Oh, cool, good.
Yeah, it's here and there. Yeah. There's one called Revenge, like Hanged Man's Revenge, like Hanged Man's Revenge. It's pretty heavy. It's like kind of sludgy. I think they just did a video for it too. And there's some like pretty nice
some of these
stuff like that. So
some of these they were already playing when they were on tour with Midnight.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Nate Garrett, and I really like what he's doing. Ex Mortis, I mean, Los Angeles band. I got a lot of friends over there, and I was able to see him one time when I was visiting the West Coast, and just seeing that stuff in person. You know, you're just like you picture the flames like from their fingers because it's just it's just kind of like unreal. And we were lucky. We actually got Chase Becker from Ex Mortis on the Bloodletter album. We just released.
I commented on that. It's pretty good gig because he's in Warbringer also, which is a pretty awesome. I remember Warbringer. I don't know if he was in the band, but I saw them here in town at one of the bigger venues. I forgot who they're opening for, but I remember before like weed was just kind of like accepted to just like smoke like in public or whatever, you know, like probably 2010 or 11, you know, when it still had a little bit of stigma. Like the bass player just like lit up a joint on stage and it was like smoking it, and like the venue like had to get on like they had to like the sound guy had to like get on the PA, like tell them to like put it out. And he did, which was even better.
Yeah, he's like, nah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a touring band, you're like, wait, what are the laws in the state?
Exactly.
Like, I've definitely in Indiana had to working door, you know, at Black Circle. There have definitely been people rolling in front of me where I was like, hey, dude, could you do that anywhere that's not in my line of vision? Because I'm not against that, but I can't let you do that in front of me on camera here. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's like where Anvil has the song Nabbed in Nebraska, you know, because of being illegal in Nebraska and shit. And they got their fucking ticket and shit like that. And so, yeah. For me, like I said, I didn't get to listen to anything from Ex Mortis. I will, though, once it releases today. I'll do my download and shit like that. The Spirit Adrift album, I listened all the way up until the very last song, which is Ghost at the Gallows. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, I mean, it checks all the boxes. There's some very sword riff stuff in there that I picked up on. There is and your John Fogerty thing is I get, but honestly, I think
it's the consistent output and quality is the John Fogerty.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, like there's very much thrash going on in this. There's some doom. There's some sludge. There's some like singer-songwriter type stuff, you know, and it's very, very dynamic the whole way through. Yeah. And I just absolutely love that about it.
Yeah. All their albums are pretty much like that anyway. So yeah, it was very in line with everything else. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, and looking at like the notes on, the Bandcamp page, it says recorded the album through the autumn equinox through All Hallows Eve 22, and it's just like right on, dude.
Yeah,
hell yeah, man. He's all Nate is like a really cool dude. I did meet him at the midnight show when they played here in Louisville, and he was just like working the merch table and just a super rad guy. So yeah, I definitely want to see them again.
And he's a young lifer, you know what I mean? Like he's still a young dude, but he's been doing it a while, and he's just it's all the all the professionalism, the drive, the prolific output, all that stuff means a lot about his character. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty substantial left turn from Gatekeeper, that's for sure. I mean, that's what he was in before he started Spirit Adrift, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I'm gonna go now, right?
Yeah.
You're up.
So I picked a couple of weird fucking albums for this month because
went deep, man.
Yeah, I did. I went hard fucking core deep, like in the paint on this. Like,
yeah, I need to do that next month for you guys. I always feel like my last 2 episodes have been really safe stuff, but
that's because you're a full time dad too, and you're a full time dad, you're a full time band dad, you work full time, you podcast full time, and then some. So we get it, man. You can pick the safe ones sometimes.
I appreciate that.
So I picked Lucifungus 4. Just because I saw the name on the Metal Archives. I was doing some research on a band coming up on the Metal Forge that I'd reached out to, and it just struck me, and it like hit my eye, and I was just like, wow, that's kind of cool. And I listened to it, and I was like, when did this come out? And it just so happened it was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. 31 minutes and 10 seconds. This is right up my alley here. And the black and white, I like black and white covers too. So
yeah. And it's, they're from Australia. Right. So nowhere near here. But I mean, you look on the Bandcamp page, and it's got a lot of support going on for it. And it's a 2-piece kind of stoner doom thing.
I'll put this on my listen list tomorrow.
Yeah, I played this earlier today, and it is the most stoned record I've heard in a while. It is great. Yeah, it is super thick, like contact high immediately. Like when I played it, it was exactly what I wanted in like that thick, buzzy sludge realm. Like great sound, great tone.
Yeah. The label here, DoNisi, is pretty damn good too, I'd say. That's a good label name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
DoNisi.
Yep. And I just I'm really wanting to get that thing off the ground, like that Jason and I have been talking about. We've been talking about the two-man doom project thing, and I really want to get it going just to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is like kind of research for me a little bit, because like I said, I wasn't looking them up specifically, but it just kind of like, whoa, what was that? Kind of hit me, and it was just like, okay, cool. And yeah, I completely dug it. And doing the same thing, it's like, I got that band from there. What about looking through something else? Through the Metal Archive album releases for August, which is where I came out with, I'm going to like butcher this name because it's French. It's Munadam, I guess, is the way it's pronounced. And the album is Delure de Renettere, which is actually I don't speak French. The only French I speak is Dave Mustaine French.
How do you spell that? I'll look it up real quick.
What do you mean?
The band name.
Moonaadem.
Okay, found it.
But the album title actually translates to Rebirth Pain. And it is one-man ambient black metal from France. And it is absolutely fucking ridiculously heavy.
Mm-hmm.
He should go on tour with Black Braid.
It is super. It's super artcore, honestly, to me, because there's so much. There are a lot of like ambient sounds going on behind all of the guitar and all of just the other noise core stuff that's in there as well. So, I mean, it's definitely not my cup of tea kind of thing. But again, just like the Horrendous album, I know about 20 people I can refer to, and they would completely dig it immediately just because of, you know, how off of the path that it is.
Yeah, one thing I thought was really cool about this record is when I hear ambient black metal in my mind, I think of songs that are like 10 plus minutes and they're kind of like amorphous and you know, like but these are tight. These are like 4 minute songs and they feel cohesive. And they did still have the ambient quality. So I thought it was a pretty cool like more concise version of that genre. And like you said, extremely heavy.
Yeah, and honestly, I think with this album, you know, there is some ambient black metal stuff out there that you can take track by track, obviously. Yeah. But I believe, like how you had said, you know, but those tracks are, you know, 10 plus minutes, things like that. I think that where, you know, he has whatever, a minute 21, a 3:15, 4.5 minute. You know, I think that's the whole idea of it, is it's just individual parts of one big cohesive thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's almost like concept albumed out, which is cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Dave Lombardo drum album he put out, which is like just a one big long track, but just separated, you know, by song titles, basically.
He needs to do that with Slayer albums that he played on. Just release the drum track.
Dude, it wasn't boring. It wasn't as boring as I thought it would be. I mean, I wouldn't listen to it I probably wouldn't listen to it again anytime soon. But like, I wasn't like that was about what I expected. I mean, it was actually really good, like for what it was. It was just like him playing drums over like this real ambient keyboard. There was like no guitar and really no nothing except for drums and a keyboard to fill in the space in the back. You know, but it was like pretty engaging. So.
It's like, it sounds like submersive, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I think it was like a lot of his like Cuban influence stuff coming out and stuff he really couldn't do in Slayer, you know. I mean, I don't think there was any room for like a Latin rhythm and fucking Raining Blood or anything like that, you know. So like he's kind of like spread his wings a little bit. I mean,
that may have, that, you know, maybe if there was a Latin rhythm in Raining Blood, it would have been an actual full song at that point.
It'd be funny, like if the like on Angel of Death when he does the double bass drum fill and he just starts hitting like a steel drum or some shit, you know, while he's doing it to get that flavor in there.
Sweet. So definitely thumbs up on everybody's picks for sure, because like
hopefully,
I said,
well, we can say the ones that are released we can vouch for. I still got Ex Mortis that
we still
haven't heard yet. It could suck, but I think it'll be good. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So Jason, what do you have for what do you want to promote that's coming up?
Just Steel and Stone Fest, tickets on sale.
We're still 3 months out.
Yeah, still 3 months out. Tickets going fast. We've sold 4 out of 100.
Oh,
but tickets going fast. You want to buy them now before you miss out.
Yeah, because this is a limited edition show. This is only limited to 100 people.
Yeah.
So
so the idea behind it is everyone's all about these like 4-day festivals, like big, huge headliners. I'm like, well, fuck that. I was like, why can't I just like have like 5 to 6 really good bands? That way, it's like 100% of the bands are A plus, and there's no filler. You know, you get there at 7 o'clock, you hear a really good band. You get there at 12 o'clock, you hear a really good band. You get there anytime between, you hear a really good band. There's no bullshit like we're not throwing Papa Roach on there just for a name people might recognize. This is all these are all bands that I can vouch for that are excellent. And
Right.
so it's Twisted Tower Dire coming over from Raleigh for their only show of the year, probably last couple years actually.
Cool.
Children of Reptiles coming over from Wilmington for their only show here in the area. Overload's coming down from Kentucky for their only show in the area. And then you got Oblivion Throne, All Hell opening, and then us in there somewhere. So
Who's
we're playing second.
Wings.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I said, it's a small place. There's no bad seats. You're up close and in their face. You can talk to the band afterwards. You can find the merch table easy. You can step outside if it gets hot, and you can buy some good local craft beer. They have a kitchen, which is pretty good, to me anyway. You can get vegan fare or just carnivore fare, which that's my side of the menu that I order from. And yeah, I mean the weather will be nice. It'll be dark at 6 o'clock, which is always good for a metal show. And yeah, so just come on down. If you're like within a 2-hour drive, or actually I would say a 4-hour drive, it's well worth your time. Unless you're Mark Jackson and have to go 5-hour drive. But that's the story.
Yeah. That is a different story. And that is November 10th, Steel and Stone Fest at steelstonefest.com.
Yeah, every pre-order guaranteed compilation CD.
Yes.
If you get there late, I'm only making like 50 if the pre-orders don't hit 50. So that's all that's going to be printed. So if you into super limited edition compilation CDs, which I'm sure there's somebody out there that is, then come and get this one. Buy a ticket and you'll get one.
Hell yeah. Sean, what do you have coming up?
Well, first of all, I love that that there's a CD with admission. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool detail for that fest, man.
Can I give you the anecdote for that? My drummer, Mike Taylor, was in a band called Surviving Thalia back in the mid 2000s, like 2004 to like 2009. And the cool fucking thing about it is when they did their CD release shows, that they worked that into the price of admission.
Yeah,
was where they always released it. And then I've always wanted to do that as well, because it's cool, because it's like, hey, you don't have to like go to the table and buy the album. We're going to give you the album for coming in the fucking door.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take this.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because then other bands have caught on to it over the years. Metallica, they started doing that, and and I was glad to say that I was doing it well before they did. Yeah.
I mean, the price Metallica's charging now, they should give you the whole fucking discography on vinyl for what you're fucking paying for a ticket.
4 times over.
It's like, what the fuck, man? Come on.
I'm still glad that we haven't heard of any kind of light truss falling down yet for those platform seats.
Only when they do the DVD, if they still do that stuff anymore, like cunning stunts. By the way, inside joke, we're back at 0. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
You brought up Slayer earlier, anyways.
Okay.
And they count too, because it's a big 4 mention. God damn it. So, you know what, Jason? I'm going to amend that rule. Every time that happens, we each have to put $1 in a jar.
Well, okay, you said Megadeth and mentioned Joey Belladonna, so you've hit more.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, I know, and you just mentioned them too. So well, yeah, there you go.
Fine. I'll get the jar. And
is this like a swear jar for when you talk about the big 4?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because dude, they take up so much. They take up so much and like air out of the room. It's like nobody else gets talked about because like it's always like big 4 or like big 1, and it's like
yeah.
But there's other bands. We don't.
And that's the other reason why I picked the 2 bands that I picked is because I don't want to talk about their albums coming out anymore, because this is the reason why I'm doing this segment of the show, is because their albums, Metallica's last album lasted maybe 2 fucking months because we did a 60-day deal and we were like, wow, I really don't listen to it anymore. Nothing really stood around. So that's why I was like, let's start talking about fucking, independent bands albums. So fuck yeah. It all comes around.
Let's start talking about Lucifungus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucifungus and fucking Ex Mortis and fucking Incantation and Spirit Adrift and yeah, so I interrupted and completely tangented there. What do you have coming up?
Like I mentioned earlier, Grave Ripper's out next week. Seasons Dreaming Death, their new album. If you liked Radiated Remains, their first EP, this is just like production wise, like even meaner, faster, heavier. Sounds great, and the songs are really like they're just like well-greased machines. They are just a battering ram of like black thrash riffs. So that's coming out. Colony Drop. I have a really limited edition vinyl, and that's really fun crossover thrash. If you like, let's see, like Japanese hardcore, carnivore, stuff like that. Just got a couple. I got a couple other albums out the rest of the year. So it's gonna be a busy couple months for sure.
Hell yeah.
And I'm excited for every single one of them.
Don't you have a tape promotion come out too?
Yeah. I just did a tape promotion. I wanted to release a couple of like the more extreme death metal and black metal records that I liked that didn't have tape editions yet. So I did a band from Oakland called Larva, and that's like really gruesome death doom. Snorlax, named after the Pokemon. Australian band, Australian solo project by Brendan Ald, and that's awesome. I was not sure I'd get that one because he's in kind of high demand and he's really talented. And then I got a Mirdad from Pennsylvania, and I actually commissioned them to do like an exclusive track for their tape. There's like a 10-minute side B that was just made specifically for that tape. And so not everybody can operate like that. But the dude who runs Mirdad and primarily writes the songs is such an awesome, like, creative, kind of like me. He's kind of like a hermit. So I think we identify with each other, and I just nudge at him, and I'm like, dude, I would love to hear a little more. I would love to hear something a little weirder. And I just kind of challenge him,
Yeah,
dude, that's rad.
It's awesome watching like a real artist like that. And his music sounds like if David Lynch was a metalhead.
Right.
It's kind of like what it sounds like to me. So it's always fun getting something back where I was like, I'm the first person to hear this fresh madness. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna order that because that'll be good for my unsleeved stuff that I do every month. Is just showing off like rare stuff I get like at shows or order and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get it just for that reason, actually.
Dude, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely toss in a couple other tape treats for you because I love.
Oh, nice. Well, I will talk them up and show them off in great detail.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Obviously, me, the Big Goddamn Metal Show is coming up. We are less than 60 days now out. Holy shit. It's coming close. Now I'm starting to get nervous. See, it's like, but Wayne, none of the bands have.
Yeah, man, it's tricky, man. Like you always hope for the best, but you really don't fucking know.
Yeah, I mean, my life is totally, and that's the weird thing. I guess my life is totally Wayne's World at this point. I'm sitting. It's like it's two chimps on a Davenport in a basement. It's like a chimp in a barber chair in a fucking black and red room. But no, so the big goddamn metal show is coming up October 13th, Friday the 13th, with Throne of Iron in their first ever Louisville performance. Hell yeah, that's going to be awesome. Sublining that night is Eulogy in Blood, Storm Toker, Rifle, Kill the Crown. I don't even know my own fucking show. Kill the Crown. And Halfcaster. And then October 14th, Saturday the 14th, is headlining Snafu, Overload, Baptized, Cur, Promise of Plague, Misery Machina, and Mothrog. Hell yeah, that's going to be fucking awesome. Obviously, Overload's playing with Solicitor at the end of September at Portal. And so go check that out. It's September 26th. It's going to be my mom's 70th birthday. So hell yeah.
Did you buy her a ticket?
Birthday to her.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, she probably wouldn't have came out. I mean, it's cool. I get it. I mean,
have her run the door.
Yeah, right. Like old times, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that was actually one of my fondest memories of like growing up. The first like fucking like kind of like really big show, like kind of like an all day kind of thing I was gonna do. Was like that. And it ended up raining, so he had to move it inside the building. And it was just like we made the best of it the best we could. We ended up turning it into like a free show and just completely eating the cost of everything and just was like having fucking fun.
Like you said, how we opened the show, we're like, sometimes that's the point of it, is you throw yourself a party and the money's gone, but like the memories are there and the connections are there, you know?
Yeah. And, and that's the whole thing is, that those memories and those connections outweigh the garbage of everything else. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really where it's at. So hell yeah. What do you all want to play out of one of these songs? 'Cause I'm just gonna fucking do it. I don't care.
Dude, we should do a
Sean pick up one of his bands. Yeah. Let Sean pick the band.
Yeah, I want Lucifungus. Slugs are the enemy.
You heard him. Slugs are the enemy. Thank you, everybody. I love you. All right.
Cool. Yeah, again, sorry I was late. We can email Dollar General for any complaints because it's their
you know what? They're actually really good about getting back.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, when you're talking about Kunaki, nobody works at Kunaki. There is one person that works there, at least, because when I was looking about maybe just having like a vinyl or two printed up to take with us our last, when we went up to see you in Louisville, I was gonna order a couple of vinyls just at cost, just have them on the table, just because that shit kind of attracts people like flies. It's like, oh, they got big vinyl, let's go check it out. Yeah. And I couldn't do it because they changed the time from 24 minutes aside to 22, and it kicked it off when I uploaded the tracks. It kicked it back, saying that it was too long. And then like I looked it up, I googled it, and it was like it used to be 24 minutes. It's like, dude, what the fuck? And I emailed them. I was like, hey, do you have any plans to go back to 24 minutes? And they're like, we never were. And then I like took a screenshot and sent it back. I was like, are you sure about that? And I never wrote back, but so
yeah, I actually just pushed a vinyl that's like a 23-minute side through, and they warned me. Yeah. They're like, this could warp the sound. I was like, have you listened to those songs? It's like raw black thrash. I don't think anyone's going to notice a little gray, little green.
Josh's?
It was, no, it was Faster Than the Devil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Josh's, there's not, I mean, that album's barely 30 minutes. It might be like 28 minutes. There's no problem with fitting that onto vinyl.
Oh God, no. Dude, and you should really fuck with people. Like, cut one side at fucking 45 and cut it and the other side at 33.
Oh no, I hate that when I run into that. Because I've done that if I DJ sometimes, and it destroys the vibe. Because the one time I was embarrassed because I put Baroness on, and it was like the Blue album, and I was like, I actually can't tell if this is the right speed. I can't remember if this song, because it's a sludgy. That's like one of their sludgy ones,
right?
So I was like, this sounds like
that
too
shit.
heavy.
Dude, I did that with somebody, and I was just like, what? And like, I wasn't like trashed or anything. I was actually, when I was working at Better Days, I did that shit, and I was in the store. I'm like,
wait, is this the right speed?
Dude walks up and
you can always tell when the vocals start, because you can tell the vocals way out of pitch always.
No, sometimes not on everything.
Sometimes the songs are like, oh shit, is this too fast? I'm not sure, but yeah, usually the vocals will give it away for me though.
I do love throwing like those Doom albums on and putting them just on a faster speed. I'm like, this is fucking sick, actually,
dude. Oh yeah. Our 7-inch, I fucked up one night and left it on a faster speed, and I called it the Megadeth mix because it sounds like something Megadeth would have fucking wrote. Like, even Micah's vocal sound like Dave Mustaine. It's wild shit. And I told him, dude, we should release this as like a single on Bandcamp.
Yeah. Just record it with your phone.
Really good. It's actually really good.
Do it, dude. Why not?
I could just throw it in. I can throw it in like Audacity and just speed it up to like 1.5 or whatever from 33 to 45 is the difference, and do it. And I'm thinking about doing it actually. Still, dude, it was pretty good.
Dude, what in the fuck would you do if you fucking released that and it fucking was like, boom, over fucking night, fucking ridiculous. Fucking,
it'd be amazing, dude. It'd be amazing.
It'd be like, holy shit. Yeah. And fucking Micah would fucking be like, what the fuck?
Dude, running money, he wouldn't. Like I said, just to press the last album on vinyl, that's it.
This actually makes me want to slow the Black Knife album down to like Doom
and see levels. What it does.
And see how it sounds. Glass coffin.
Yeah. But yeah, Mark, seriously, like, you have the copy of the vinyl. Like, listen to it. I think it's a 33. Put it on 45.
Yeah.
Listen to Mirkwood and tell me that this couldn't have been like some like on Hidden Treasures or some shit, like just some B-side song they put out. Like, it's quite amazing how fucking it sounds.
How much it sounds like fucking Mega Dave.
Yeah, man. It's a like I said, we'd probably get like a cease and desist or some shit. It's like, I wrote that. Like, no, you didn't. I just sped my song up.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Dude. Man, there's so much that's like, dude, do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah, I will one of these days. I got so much other shit, like speeding up a song and releasing it just isn't on top of my fucking priority list right now.
I mean, why not? I mean, if it's something that pushes the needle, fucking do it. Yeah. I mean, honestly, what's it gonna take? It's just, all it's gonna take is fucking making a weird piece of artwork for it and fucking just speeding it up in fucking Audacity and releasing it. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, just
takes you fucking 12 seconds.
Just put it that way. I guess you're not wrong.
Speed Demon mix. Here we go.
There you go. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could put it on the next faster than the fucking devil.
Maybe I'll have it and submit it for the next Wise Boy compilation.
Yeah, the fast version.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And I'll make a fucking doom metal version of an Overload song.
Yeah, there you go.
People covering their own songs, different
slower
styles.
Or faster. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's coming to, though, dude. We were talking about the AI thing, right? And that's what it's coming to. There was the fucking thing that Jason, you and I were talking about it, where they programmed like their tones and the way like they pressed down on their instruments when they were making chords.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just fed it into the fucking AI thing and said, okay, write this type of song using that technique. And it did. And it's just like, what the fuck? So it's like, then it's like, it's not even real anymore.
Yeah.
It's like fucking 2112 is coming true, dude.
Yeah. Well, but I was saying, well, too, like these bands like Sleep Token, who like you don't ever see as a mask, dude, all that shit in the future, that could just be AI playing behind dudes in a mask, and you would never really fucking know because it'd be like they could get anybody to do that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't see their lip syncing because they have a fucking mask on. It's just a bunch of AI songs that are presented as a band, and people are not going to know because like everyone's wearing masks now, and you never really be able to tell, if this song is like written by a human or not.
I want to
market it the right way. People will eat that shit up.
I want to reach out to Jim Cameron and get him on for like the fucking the Mudhorn or something. Yeah. So we can fucking I know pipe dream shit and say, hey, the Terminator's coming true, motherfucker. Yeah. How do you feel about that now?
Yeah.
And he'll be like, dude, how many movies did we make warning you?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Said, man, Unaki is like the Skynet of fucking like CD and record pressing. It's just like it's there,
Dude, I'm totally doing my fucking thing where I'm gonna fucking like, I'm going to retire on a Mexican beach somewhere and nobody's going to fucking find me, man.
You can retire next to Jesse Ventura at his resort at his Mexican beach.
Hey, he's in the Baja.
His neighbor makes good Mexican food, what I heard. So
yes. He spends half the year there.
Yeah.
He actually
getting back real quick before I gotta go. The movie Death Metal it's on Tubi. I've actually kind of started liking that app a lot. There's a lot of good shit on there. There's a lot of crap. There's a lot of crap too, but there's a lot of good stuff on there that I was like going through last night. I was like, damn, I should get on here more often and watch stuff. But the movie Death Metal, dude, it's rough, but I'm gonna soldier on because I just like low budget shit like that.
No. You don't talk to me about what's rough. I'll tell you what's fucking rough, motherfucker. I'm halfway through a fucking movie called Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Dude, I know what it is. I've watched it.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Jesus fuck, dude. And it's like, I fucking texted Chad immediately. And I was like, what have you fucking gotten me into? He goes, have you watched it all yet? I'm like, no. I'm like, at this point, he's like, oh, man, it's so good. It's so good. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's got charm. I'll just say that.
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that until the next Mudhorn double feature.
Yeah.
Sean, dude, thank you.
Thank you,
I appreciate you, dude. I love you. Thank you for sending the download codes as always. Jason, I am forwarding those to you as well.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my pleasure, man. I'll be sending you the Black Knife one in a week or two.
Oh no, dude! Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely. And next time I'm up at a show that way, I'm gonna stop in and order what I can and get what I can in person. So.
Oh yeah, no, not a problem, man. It's thanks for having me on, and
of course,
I'll catch you guys. Soon.
Yeah, about a month. I'll put my 2 in there here in just maybe a day or so.